Oh, hey, what's up, guys? It's your boy. Your boy. You know me. It's your boy. Um, I'm just making this video as kind of just a plea for names, because I have stretched my brain trying to find something punchy and short and sweet that really sums it up. Um, so, if you've watched my past videos that are really, really fucking long, like the one that's like an hour long where I say in the title to watch it in slow motion or in like 1.5 times speed, because it's that fucking long, and I speak kind of like this, stupid, because I'm an idiot. Basically, society is and when I say society, what I'm talking about is the conglomerate, mechanisms of the biological entities, namely humans, and the various plants and animal and monocellular life that we cultivate or employ or have domesticated, or that we just use on our daily basis. Like I'm referring even like the crops we grow, are your pet dogs, our livestock, animals in zoos, like the yeast we use to make beer and bread, HeLa cells, for cancer research, all that shit. It's a conglomeration of memes, genes, and teams. So by genes, I mean all the biological entities of all various kinds that are composing the society. Memes, all the various cultural things, all the ideologies, all the histories, all the language, all the any mimetic complex which we see fit to reproduce as part of our overall collective human society. And then teams are technological memes. So all of the devices we employ, from bendy straws up to particle accelerators, down to stone axes and sharpened sticks. Because there are still humans that use sharpened sticks on a daily basis for part of their daily function. All the technological replicators, all the informational replicators, and all the biological replicators. Those are the three replicators that I am aware of: is memes, genes, and teams. Teams, of course, like I said, short for techno meme. If you're anything like me, and if you are me, you are basically I believe that society, as I have just defined it, is a gestalt organism. It is alive. It is a thing that, while being completely alien to us, has some level of a mind. I don't even know if it's sentient or sapient, but it is alive, and it has the ability to work towards its own replication and persistence and survival. And clearly it does, because everywhere that you go, everywhere that the modern current society has spread to, it what's the word? It deracinates whatever was there, and it replaces it with itself. Back in the day, it probably came somewhere out of fucking England, but even before England, Rome was part of it. The early Bronze Age civilizations were part of it, but everywhere it goes, and really the only holdout from it, for the most part, is like the Sentinelese, the North Sentinelese. But even they still use some level of technology. It's just whatever they consider a society is so vastly cut off from us. Honestly, they're very they're pretty much their own. They're pretty much the only people 100% free from whatever the fuck is going on here. But I believe that society is a gestalt collective organism made up of the three replicators: memes, genes, and teams. And it's alive. It has an interest, and it may or may not be aware that it is alive and has an interest, but it manipulates all of its constituent parts towards its own replication. In the same way an amoeba, despite not having a mind, it still works towards its own replication and survival. I don't need to go into what the selfish gene is. Genes don't have to be intelligent to still be selfish. I mean, when you say a selfish gene, it's a shorthand. You're saying that the organism which does X will survive and persist and reproduce and replicate itself. That is the nature of all replicators. Obviously, a gestalt organism made up of many replicators, as human beings are, as most complex memes are, like ideologies and shit like that, and most complex technology are. Technology reproduces by getting us to reproduce it. Technology, obviously, to get us to reproduce it, it had to at least be somewhat useful, but we are in an age now where this is increasingly less the case. And like I've said in past videos, I'm writing a book about this. It's called Monkey Torture Algorithm. Blah, 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 blah. I don't know when it's going to come out. It's going to come out in the next couple months, probably. I took a new job where I'm not at a desk. I'm at a forklift every day. So that's slowed down work on the book, but it is still coming along. I will probably resume work pretty shortly on it. I take kind of a 2-week break off from writing. But mostly the thing is, I've been referring to this gestalt entity as the basilisk. One, I don't want to seem... it's drawing too many... parallels with Roko's basilisk. I thought the basilisk was nice because literally, if you are in its gaze, it's trying to assimilate you into it. It is an info hazard, kinda. It's, the basilisk, most people are familiar with Roko's basilisk, so that instills the proper amount of fear, I think, that you should feel upon realizing that this fucking Lovecraft entity is our society. That our society is a fucking Lovecraft monster. Okay? It doesn't even exist, but also it exists everywhere and in everything all at the same time. It's completely alien and unintelligent and a blind idiot god, but it's also hyper intelligent and controls every aspect of your and my life, and what we think and what we do and what technology we use and what we fucking eat and what we do. I'm falling out of love with the name the Basilisk. I think it's just too hard. It's too much effort for me to go into explaining all this and then call it the Basilisk, and then you think, oh, this guy is the Basilisk. So I have to go ahead and then spend a chapter delineating the difference between my basilisk and Roko's basilisk, and it just seems biting. It seems like I'm biting off him, which I'm not. This is completely different and arose completely independently from the concept of Roko's basilisk, and really it has nothing to do with it other than the fact that I think the name basilisk conveys the proper adequate amount of fear, in the fact that it's an entity which doesn't exist, but it also paradoxically exists at the same time, and it's bringing itself into existence. I just don't know. So what I'm asking is, does anybody out there, can you think of a good name for what I'm talking about? If you are one of the few people who are gonna fucking watch this 10-minute video and understand what the fuck I'm talking about, Can you tell me, what would you say is a good name for this creature, for this entity that does not exist? It does exist. It is trying to increasingly wean itself off of humans and also subsume us and assimilate us into itself completely, so that everything has kind of had to go towards our happiness to at least a little bit. But obviously this is increasingly less the case. Who needs to appease human psychology when you can just get rid of that? Obviously, in the future, we are going to all be genetically engineered to just be happy eating bugs, to be happy living in pods. We are going to be happy being cogs in a machine, and we are going to be happy. You're not going to need fucking high-rise condos with a little green space, because that's that's what some fucking idiot decided. Oh, we've calculated that human beings need point whatever acreage of green space per human per hectare in order to not kill themselves and be functioning, productive members of the machine. What is a good name for that entity? I can't think of something. I'm not a particularly well-read man, so I couldn't find some alliteration that is adequate. I don't think calling it it's a Lovecraft entity, it's a Lovecraft monster, but I don't know what a good name for that would be. None of them Lovecraft monster. It seems too on the nose and unoriginal and none of the names of any of the Lovecraft monsters, besides maybe like the blind idiot god, really would make sense, but also that doesn't even make sense. So I don't know. And it just seems too on the nose to name it after a Lovecraft monster, or to call it an eldritch entity. It sounds too much like I'm trying too hard to convey that it's something you should be fucking scared of, or at least something that you should have great trepidation about. You should not immediately sign your soul over to this fucking thing. I don't know, man. And really, that's what the political right is, or at least the base of the political right is. It's people who have not become fully subsumed by this thing. They're apolitical, man. They're not fully politicized, not fully integrated into the new society that has formed around us, completely on its own. I don't know. Anyways, so that's all I really had to say. Please post a comment if you know a good name for what I should call this entity, because I am toying with not calling it the Basilisk. That's the best name I had, and I just don't think it's adequate, and I think it's just too confusing to call it the Basilisk, because then I'm going to have to spend a ridiculous amount of time explaining, no, I'm not talking about Rocco's Basilisk, no, I'm not, Doc 5, I watched Next Bone, I saw this documentary, it's the same thing. I'm not trying to push that on people. I mean, that is technically a real thing, but it's not what I'm talking about. So it's just too confusing, if that makes sense. Anyways, if you have a good name for that, leave a comment. Like and subscribe if you want to watch me slowly unravel as the years go on and slowly lose more and more of whatever I used to be and become a raving madman. God bless. Up with bros, down with Satan, and peace out. Bye.